I'm Dave Cummins from Future Property Group, and welcome to the Future of Sustainable Development, a podcast where we explore the ideas shaping tomorrow's built environment. Today, we're exploring the importance of post-occupancy evaluation. What is it? Why is it important? And how to embrace it? Let's start with something simple. Buildings are built with purpose. Hospitals are designed to heal. Schools are designed to educate. Offices to create and homes to nurture. But here's the catch. How often do we actually check if they're doing what they were designed to do? That's where post-occupancy evaluation comes in. It's the process of systematically studying how buildings perform once buildings are living and working in them. Not just energy bills or maintenance reports, but the real response and experience of the occupants. Comfort, health, productivity, and well-being. The origins of post-occupancy evaluation trace back to the 1960s, when researchers in the United States and the United Kingdom began measuring how educational and healthcare buildings functioned at practice. The Buildings Research Establishment in the UK and work published in Building and Environment were among the first to highlight that many buildings underperformed compared to their design promises. But in the 1980s and 1990s, universities such as the University College London and Berkeley in California were formalising methods of evaluating buildings post-use. The idea was revolutionary. Stop designing blindly and start learning from feedback. Why does it matter? Because the gap between design intent and reality is often huge. A landmark study in Building Research and Information found that actual energy use in new commercial buildings was often doubled what was predicted during design. The so-called performance gap isn't just talking about wasted energy, it's about wasted potential. The Journal of Facilities Management found that offices designed for collaboration often fell short because noise levels and poor layouts drove people to retreat rather than to connect. In schools, the University of Salford HEAD project showed that poor indoor air quality and lack of daylight reduced student learning outcomes by up to 20%. Imagine the opportunity lost when buildings are designed to inspire children instead slow them down. And in healthcare, Roger Erlich's classic research science study in Science revealed that post-surgery patients with a view of trees recovered faster and needed less pain medication than those facing a wall. If we don't evaluate, we miss chances to replicate what works and eliminate what harms. The benefits of post-occupancy evaluation are undeniable. The Journal of Environmental Psychology documented that workers in buildings with better ventilation and daylight not only performed 15% better on cognitive tasks, but also performed significantly lower stress. The Journal of Sustainable Real Estate showed that green certified buildings, which typically undergo more rigorous post-occupancy assessment, command 3% higher rental values and 16% higher sales prices. For developers and owners, evaluation is not just a cost, it's a pathway for stronger returns. For communities, it means healthier, more productive places to live and work. So why don't we embrace post-occupancy evaluation more widely? Firstly, cost perception again. Developers worry about spending money on studies once the building is complete. Yet a paper in Building and Environment showed that the cost of post-occupancy evaluation is typically less than 0.1% of construction budgets, and often pays for itself within a year through efficiency gains. Secondly, there's a cultural inertia. The construction industry is trained to celebrate completion and ribbon cutting and glossy photos, not the long-term lived experience. Often, once the keys are handed over, the lessons are lost. Third, there is fear. Post-occupancy evaluation sometimes reveals uncomfortable truths, that a multi-million-dollar project isn't performing as promised, that residents are unhappy, and that energy bills are sky high. A study in Energy and Building noted that some developers avoid evaluation precisely because it could highlight underperformance. But without facing these realities, we can't improve. There's also systematic barriers. In many countries, post-occupancy evaluation is not mandated, so it's left to the goodwill of developers or researchers. The Journal of Cleaner Production argues that until governments and regulators embed evaluation into policy, tying approvals, incentives, and certifications into measurable post-use performance, adoption will remain patchy. But here's the encouraging part. Where post-occupancy evaluation is embraced, it transforms the sector. In Australia, the Green Building Council has increasingly promoted post-occupancy evaluation through Green Star performance tools, encouraging continuous monitoring and helping out the building's overall performance. In Melbourne, there are buildings now that have the CH2 building, which is one of the first 6-star Green Star projects, underwent extensive post-occupancy evaluation, which revealed both successes and failures. Excellent air quality, but issues with thermal comfort, giving the industry valuable insights that help shape future projects. Overseas, in the UK, they have pioneered post-occupancy evaluation into public sector projects. The government's soft landing framework requires evaluation of major buildings for 3 years after handover, ensuring lessons feed directly into new projects. In the US, the Center for the Built Environment at UC Berkeley runs one of the world's largest post-occupancy evaluation databases, with feedback from over 90,000 building occupants across 900 buildings. Their research consistently showed that workplaces with higher post-occupancy evaluation scores on comfort and air quality also score higher in productivity and staff retention. And let's not forget education. The HEAD project in the UK evaluated over 150 classrooms and proved that well-designed learning environments improved academic progress by 16%. This wasn't a design theory. It is hard evidence from post-occupancy evaluation has reshaped how schools are planned. So how do we embrace post-occupancy evaluation more fully? First, we need to normalise it as part of the building lifecycle. Just as commissioning, handover and warranty periods are standard, so should be structured feedback loops. The Journal of Building Research and Information recommends post-occupancy evaluation at 6 months, 1 year and 3 years, capturing both immediate teething issues and long-term performances. Second, we need transparency. Results should be shared openly so the whole industry can learn. Imagine if every school, office or hospital published its post-occupancy outcomes, not only as a marketing tool, but also a shared knowledge base. The aviation industry improves safety by sharing incident reports. Why shouldn't property improve performance by sharing building data? Third, tie finance and policy to evaluation. Banks and investors already offer green loans and lower rates for certified projects. If post-occupancy evaluation became a condition for maintaining those loans, evaluation would spread quickly. Regulators should fast-track approvals for developers who commit to measure outcomes. And finally, we must shift the culture from fear to growth. Post-occupancy evaluation is not about pointing fingers, it's about learning. Every situation, whether positive or negative, is a data point that helps us build smarter next time. As Janice Birkeland argued in her work on positive development, without feedback loops, we cannot achieve regenerative outcomes. So what would happen if we made post-occupancy evaluation the norm? We would close the performance gap in energy use, shrinking the building sector's 39% share of global emissions. We would design hospitals that speed recovery, schools and accelerate learning, offices that help boost creativity, and homes that help improve health and wellbeing. We would also stop repeating mistakes and start compounding success. In short, we would create a property sector that is truly evidence-based, resilient and regenerative. The take-home message is this: you can't improve what you don't measure. Post-occupancy evaluation is a bridge between design intent and lived reality. It's how we make sure our bold ideas actually work, not just on paper, but in people's lives. The journals are clear, the data is clear, and the examples are already around us. The question is not whether we can afford to evaluate, it's whether we can afford not to. Thank you for tuning in to the Future of Sustainable Development. Join us next time as we uncover fresh research, new innovations, and best practices for building smarter, greener, and more resilient buildings. Until then, let's continue to build places that help heal the land and empower communities for tomorrow.